Hey everybody, welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about Bootstrap. I actually recently started working with Bootstrap. I have heard a lot about this lovely CSS framework, toolkit, I don't know what you want to name it. And I didn't have this opportunity to work with, and I recently when I started working with it, I felt in love with it because I have my reasons to share with you. My first reason to learn Bootstrap is that you can learn how to handle your CSS codes inside your project in a neat way, because most of us have faced with messy style sheets. For example, today I started a project, I wrote some CSS classes, and after a month I will come back to that project again. I forgot that I have this class inside it, and I write it again, and it will repeat, and after a while you will face with a messy style sheet in your project. And by learning Bootstrap, you will figure out how you can have a neat CSS structure inside your project. And also it is very useful. I suggest you use it inside your projects because, for example, in the past, people saying that your template is gonna be bootstrappy because every bootstrap based websites are similar together, but from the version 4 of Bootstrap and even in version 5 you will have this ability to customize everything, and it's very easy because it's powered by SAS, and you can change everything anytime that you want. And for this video I made an example to show you how did I build this template. Let me show you. Yeah, as you can see, I made this website for another video with Bootstrap version 5, but you can use also version 4 for it. And I didn't write any line of CSS code myself. I just use Bootstrap predefined classes, and as you can see, it works well, it is responsive. And yeah, you can also learn it and use it inside your projects and skyrocket your development speed for your projects. Before we start, if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please make sure that you subscribe it now in order to miss any videos in future. And also I have a suggestion for you. If you want to learn a lot from this video, please pause this video and go to the description and find the source code for this project, the starter one, and start coding along with me. If you don't write code yourself and you don't make mistakes, you're not gonna learn it. So pause this video, go to my GitHub page and download the source code, start changing it, and to figure out what is going on in Bootstrap. Okay guys, here it's my template. It's the starter version, which I have all the HTML elements, but I haven't defined any classes inside them, and it's the version 5 Bootstrap, and all the documentations are located in this subdomain. And yeah, here it's the main official web page of Bootstrap. If you want to use version 4, you can come here and check the documents. And also it is one code sheet for Bootstrap that I'm using, because it's hard to remember every classes that we need in Bootstrap. So we can, for example, go to the button section and see the list of available classes, and you can click on them and you will see a preview, and that's very handy. Okay, first step is installing Bootstrap. To install it, you can run npm install Bootstrap, or if you want to install the version 5, you should add @next to end of it. And when you run this command, it will be installed. And if you check your package.json file, you will see that version 5 alpha 1 is added to your packages. Okay, here as you can see, I have one index.html file and I have my main CSS file that I just imported Bootstrap CSS file from the Bootstrap library that we installed, and I didn't write any code. And I'm also using a useful extension for VS Code in order to change Sass files to CSS. It is called, what was it? Have lots of, yeah, it's live Sass compiler. If you install it, it will look for every Sass file inside your project and it will convert it. And if you click it, you can enable watch and it will look for any Sass file and convert it to a CSS file. As you can see, it has created a main CSS file based on main CSS and our Sass file, and I just imported my main CSS file here. I have some topics that I want to talk about. The first thing is that, as I said, Bootstrap is a package of predefined CSS classes. They are designed well and we just need to memorize them and use them. Here we have grid system, which allows us to build responsive pages using this powerful section of Bootstrap, and it is based on Flexbox. It offers us 6 responsive breakpoints, for example, X small, medium level and large, and X large and double X large. And you also need to use container class for you, and you also need to wrap everything inside another div and add the container class if you want to use a grid system of Bootstrap. And you can design your layout using .row and .col classes, and also it will offer us 12 columns for each row. And we will have card. Let me show you. It is the card. It's the simplest one. As you can see, it can have a banner, it can have a title, some text, some links, and we don't need to write them from scratch. We can easily use card class that we will use inside our example. And also it will offer us form classes, predefined classes, which we can use inside our forms, our tables, for our buttons. And also there are some utilities that you can create your own styles. For example, you want to just set a margin, and you can easily use these utilities. You can even extend them and add more utilities to them. And here, for example, it's the format that we can use. For example, the property, it can be margin, and the side, it can be left, right, bottom and up. And then we can specify the size, and the size should be between 1 to 5. And here it's an example. The M letter means margin, the T letter means top, and we specify 3 for size. And these sizes are based on spacers. Let me show you. If you installed Bootstrap, you will have a Bootstrap folder inside Node modules, and if you go to the Sass folder, inside the variables, I guess. Let me check it. Yeah, it's the spacers, and here we will have 6 spacers, and each spacer length is 1 rem. And for example, when you use 1 for size of your margin, it is equal to a spacer divided to 4, and so on. Okay, let me show my screenshots. I actually want to make it like this one. As you can see, it is designed based on mobile page width, and I have just 1 column, and they are my rows. And for the bigger devices, I just want to change it to this one. As you can see, they are the same, but here we have 2 columns instead of 1. Okay. The first thing that I need to do, as I said before, we need to wrap everything inside another div and use container class for that div. So I already have that div, and just container, and as you can see, it will add some extra spaces around my content. And here I want to make it center this text. It is h2, and I can use text center class, and it will make it center for me. I also need to add some margin at top, so I'm gonna use margin utility. As I said, I should use m, and I want to add it to the top, so mt, and it will be 3. Yeah, as you can see, the margin is added. And for these elements inside my container, I need to have separate rows. So I'm gonna use row class for these 3 divs, and the last one is just for this line. Okay, and the next step is fixing this SVG that we already have it. I actually should say, in the Bootstrap we have 12 columns here, and we can say that, for example, this image can use col 12. It means that it will use all the space that it has, but we can, for example, set col 6, and as you can see, it will just use the half of our container, our parent div. And for here I want to use 6 columns and add an offset 3. It means that the first 3 columns should be empty, we don't want to use that, and then our image should take 6 columns, and the rest will be unused. So by this technique, I inserted this image at the center of my row. And also I want to show it in a bigger devices in a bigger way, so I just can use col sm8. It means that in small devices, because we have extra small and small, when we don't specify anything here, it means that we are saying Bootstrap that in every screen sizes, even extra small, it should be it should use 6 columns. But when I use a small, it means that it means that in the small device range, it should take 8 columns. But if I as you can see, between these 2 breakpoints, it will switch it to 8 columns and 6 columns. I also want to say that in Bootstrap, when you don't specify your breakpoint, like here called 6, the default breakpoint is extra small or XS, and it will be applied for XS and the bigger ones. But for example, if I use here LG for large, it will be applied to the large, X large, and double X large. Okay, here I also need to modify my offset based on the new size for the small. So offset for a small should be, instead of 3, it should be 2. Yeah, it is always located in the center of my page. And here for this section, let me see, yeah, for this area, let me show you. Yeah, here it is. I have a card here, it has some shadows near it, and I also have another card here. So to do it, we also need to specify column 12, because in the extra small it should take 12 columns, and for the larger devices it is better to use 6 columns, and they should be near each other. Let me show you. Call large 6 and repeat it for the other div near it. Yeah, and let me make it wider. As you can see here, for these boxes we have 6 columns for this and another 6 columns for this one. Okay, I also should say that for your columns, if you want to have some space between your columns, don't set padding or margins to your columns directly. You can do this by adding another div inside your column and then do whatever margin or space that you want in the child div. Okay, here I created this div for this section, and within it I just want to have a card, so I add the card class. You will see that it is added, and here for this one as well. Yeah, we have 2 cards, and inside the card I want to have my card body, so add card body. You will say that it will add some extra space and paddings, and again we need to do it for the other. Yes, and it's better to have some shadows here, so I can do it in this way. Shadow and SM. Yeah, as you can see, it added some small shadows to my form. And here I also need to add some margin, M2, to all the areas, and again for this one. It seems I made a mistake. As I said, we shouldn't apply margins directly to the columns, so I need to move it here. Sorry for this. And add the shadow here. Shadow small. Yeah, it is added near this box. And let's move to our form and make it beautiful. So I need a little bit margin for each row of my form. Let me apply it to see. Yes, And for the labels and inputs, we have form label and form control. Yeah, as you can see, it's way better now, and let's repeat it for the other sections. And for my button, it is very ugly. I can add a button, and yeah, it will be a button, but to apply some styles to it, you can use btn primary or secondary or whatever you want. Yeah, for example, if I change it to secondary, it will be like this, but you also can customize every colors inside your main CSS file. Let me change it to primary, and for this loading I need a spinner, so I can use a spinner border. You can see it has a spinner, but I don't want to show this text, so I add it star only. It means that it should be displayed only in screen reader devices, and in other devices like my computer it should be hidden. And for now I want to hide it, and we need to, for example, when we clicked on the submit button, show it again. So I can use the utility none, and it will set the display to none. Okay, my form is ready. Let's go for our table. Okay, let me close this useless console here, and I have one div. Inside it I have my table and this section inside another div. So here I just need to actually I want to make it like this one. I should use some float to the right section to stick to the right, and change the color of this button. So first let's set display to flex and set float right. Yeah, and also what else do we need? Yeah, I just want to set width of this as to take just 30% of my page width, so I can use W class utility and 30 for 30%. Yeah, and for my table I can use table class, and we just need some styles for them. For the input we can again use form control. Okay, and for the button we can use btn this time secondary. Yeah, and we just need a small margin left for this button, so margin left 2. Yeah, it looks very better than before. And let's go for our table. I want to change the style of this table. It is so basic. We have several options here. Let me show you. Table, I will add link of this website inside the description. We, for example, can use table dark or table stripe. It is better, so table stripe. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, just for this section I need to make it center, so take center and we can also specify column. And if I don't use numbers after the column, it will actually use every space that we have here. But if we had, for example, 2 tags here, and we don't specify number of columns here, it will divide equally between the elements for us. Okay, let me remove it. And if I make my page wider, yeah, as you can see, it is totally responsive now and it works fine for us. I just have one question from you guys. What do you think about Bootstrap, especially the version 5? Do you want to use it inside your projects, or if not, what are your reasons to don't use Bootstrap? For more information, you can watch these videos.